Hello, and welcome to the video. Today's topic is something that was requested by my viewers. After one of my latest videos titled, Everything Wrong with Yandere Simulator, people had been making suggestions to do an opposite list. Some people responded in advance that this is going to be a pretty short list, but I don't think so. There is a reason Yandere Simulator became as popular as it is, even among people who are very critical of it. Obviously it's very flawed, it's raw in many aspects, but still we can't deny all the things that make Yandere Simulator an appealing game, even in its unfinished state. It even created a whole niche of channels discussing the game and its development. Even my channel falls in this niche, and it's not so easy to climb out of it. You know I have tried. And so I remain stuck here, and that's why I'm making this video. With all that being said, let's get down to business. If we speak about things Yandere Simulator does right, the first item in this list is the first thing any gamer will notice first. It's the game's visuals. Yandere Dev may not be a good art director, but he still did a good job at establishing really appealing graphic style of the game. Main pastel theme, bright colors, and generally light environment. It's just an eye candy, even if it's filled with cheap artificial flavors and gives away strong chemical aftertaste, it's still sweet. Starting with main menu full of white bloom, and ending with warm orange atmosphere of the end of the school day, our eyes are splashed with aesthetical picture. But it's not just the environment. Characters are given special post-processing effects that make models appear more like a drawing than a real-time renderer. It makes the game look similar to animated shows. Obviously for a game based on anime clichés this is very important, since the target audience will appreciate such choice of art direction. Alex hit the spot with it. All this may be too much for some people, or some may prefer characters without outlines or generally more simple look, but all these things are customizable. So kudos to Alex for being considerate developer giving all these toggles to post-processing effects. Moving to the next item in this list, we go to the most important part of the game. The gameplay. We can criticize the elements of the gameplay all day long, but there is one thing we can't deny. The core concept of the gameplay really scratches the itch. Yandere Dev decided to follow the idea of open world, where you have the freedom to do whatever you want, ignoring main objective. It's nothing new, it had already been tried countless times before, but we still ask for more. Yandere Simulator does just that. I can hardly call it open world, because most of the time we play in a single stage, and other locations in the game are very restrictive, but still we get that element of exploration. This little thing is what makes us return to the game again and again. But that's not all, players also get to do edgy stuff, and the quest lines with each rival are not linear. All these things combined together make a great replay value, giving freedom to play differently each walkthrough. Essentially, Yandere Simulator is some sort of an anime sandbox, where you get to make your own edgy story. Yandere Simulator has very good gameplay concept, even if it needs polishing. Next thing Yandere Simulator does right, in my opinion, is having as much unique characters as possible. Given the school setting, and the implied amount of NPCs that needs to populate the stage, it's easy to come up with the laziest and easiest solution. Keeping majority of non-essential characters as background filler with no special traits. Alex did the opposite. Despite his lack of human resource, he committed to the idea of making every single student in school as a unique NPC with its own routine, quests, and stats. Every student has their own personality, their own accessories, and behavior. We really should compliment Alex on that, even if he still did not complete filling the quest part of the NPC roster. But that's not all, he also committed to filling non-essential NPCs with stories of their own, making the world of Yandere Simulator more lively, and providing the fan service. Even some interactions have different outcome with specific characters, which may catch you off guard. It happened with me a couple of times, and it was a very nice touch. Such details keep casual players interested in replaying. Someone may say it's not much of a big deal, but in case of Yandere Simulator and its pace of development, it actually is. Every single character has schedule and stats of their own, and Alex needs to program all of that by himself one by one. Let me remind you, it's not an easy thing to do when you're a chronic procrastinator. The next thing Yandere Simulator does right, strictly, in my opinion, stems from the previous one. As you know, Yandere Simulator had been in development for a very long time, partly because Alex did not want to work with professionals, who require money for their time and effort. He had chosen to use free labor, and it takes time to get the right person and getting the right asset. During this time, Alex entertains his fans with a lot of deep dark anime lore of Yandere Simulator, explaining why things in the game's world are the way they are, characters' backstories, and mountains of trivia. Let's be honest about this. A lot of people who follow the Yandere Simulator just watch others play the game, because they don't have a computer powerful enough to run the game smoothly, or just like to follow the development updates. Bits of omitted story, explanations of the in-game events, and stuff like that keep audience entertained and interested. There are plenty of people in the community who are excited about characters we don't even see in the game. Alex turned the development into an ongoing show, with its own spin-offs and stuff like that. Coming next, we yet again touch the subject of the gameplay. This time I want to address the non-linearity of the game. The game finally has a demo, and it only has one rival and teaser for the second one. But we still got a good portion of content in the demo alone, because you can deal with your rival in many different ways. Imagine the amount of content they would have if it was all 10 rivals. Because the questline is not linear, you can replay it, again and again, many times before you exhaust the content and get bored. The game even has some omitted secret endings the player can discover by trial and error, or by reading the wiki page on the internet. This requires a lot of effort to fill in, and Alex deserves the compliment for committing to the principles of non-linear gameplay. Next is the difficulty. Nearing the release of the first rival, and after the first edition of the demo was published, a lot of people were complaining about the increasing difficulty of the game. Game-breaking exploits, bugs, and slip-ups that allowed the game to be completed in less than 15 seconds, they got fixed, patched, or reworked. There was plenty of complaints about that, claiming the game is impossibly hard. Now that we have the latest edition of the demo, the difficulty of the game is more than reasonable. You still can exploit some of the mechanics if you know the secrets to it, but it's not as radical as before. You still can go for speedrun strategies, but it would require some effort on your part. And even if you're not very good at the game, you're allowed to go slow and easy route but still being challenged. The game feels balanced both for long-time players and those who are new to it. That's not to say there are no flaws, there is plenty of them, but in general, the difficulty is not too punishing, and not too easy on the player at the same time. There are enough things to like Yandere Simulator for, and I could speak more elaborately on this subject, but that's enough of useless information for you today. I don't want to fry your brains further with empty talk. If you enjoy the game, it's your prerogative to do so, and the fact that it's not complete shouldn't be a problem. Pretty much everyone is dissatisfied with how the development goes and how long it takes, even Alex, but we still get our bits of enjoyment from what has been made so far. With that being said, it's time to end the video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.